I'm good. Yes, don't play. As soon as I get a car, I'm out. I don't know what
Hello.
Like, I haven't been on Facebook for shit. I haven't been on Facebook because every time I get on there, it's and then he was friends with the young guy. And yeah, they're best friends. You know,
good.
I swear to God, if she took something on that, I'm gonna kill her. But one G, he's like super depressed. He's been trying to off himself.
How are you?
He's a good kid, a really good kid. Just he's got too much money and nothing to do with it. Great. You got everything, so why not? Yeah. Wow, the man's really coming out, huh?
What?
This is awesome.
Nice.
It's really coming out. Good? Because I can't be out here to be with you guys. I want to do it. I haven't talked to him in 6 months, and all of a sudden he calls me, messages me on Messenger, and I don't never use Messenger. Because on Messenger, and he was like, "Hey, can I come to your college?" It's like 2 in the morning.
Hi.
Come on with it. Here we go, 651.
Who are you?
How are you? I thought that'd be awesome. I got a car.
Ogama Quack, Native Nation Movement. Right here.
I'm here. Get ready to get loud.
Let's see, why you hit me?
Excuse me, I'm sorry.
I know. Up on University of Mexico, coming on. And there's a they go on 5. Coming out towards Minneapolis. And then that was like a little over an hour ago when we come back to get on the freeway here. The car was still there.
Damn, that's a big ass car.
Oh my god, it is all one number.
He's bro, it's 7-7.
I know, because they've been,
I told you.
That ass!
A lot of them. And I talked to St. Paul police already and fire, and they told me that if I told my sister I thought she was scared. And she said that if I do hear a call that's near me, that I can go and try to administer Narcan before they get there, because St. Paul is so backed up. Yeah, it's just 45 minutes to get to the call in the university. Yeah. So if I can get there before they can, by all means, I'm gonna, I don't care what time it is, kind of have to, Otherwise, what's the whole purpose of doing it? I don't care what color you are. I don't care where you're from. I don't care. Food just has to happen. Oh, look at this.
So you guys, on behalf of Little Earth, I'd like to welcome you for this tragic time, and we thank you for coming out to show your support for our community. We also have tobacco. Before we get started, we want to make sure anybody who wants tobacco, we have it here with us. And we're asking after we're done with our services, down where Alex lost his life, that you don't put it on the stairs because the tobacco will get stepped on. We have a big tree here that's been here since Little Earth first existed, and we've asked you to put it there. So after you get your tobacco, we also have candles for the candlelight vigil. Please come grab one. Then we'll get started. Okay.
I have to go there.
Yeah.
You should come with me.
Yeah.
Wednesday? When you work, well, then let's go then.
Let's go.
Let's go.
I don't work.
Okay, well, let's go. Let's go tomorrow then. Yeah, let's go tonight. No, I'm serious.
Hi. I'm still gonna adopt her.
And then the yellow medicine county. Nobody's got to show up hard. No, it's all good. We got it. It's all good. You want? Here, so we got to go see.
Yeah, because I've been talking to
No, I'll show
people
you
down
who
there.
we can just go. Believe me, we just got to go out. Here, I'll tell you who we got to go talk to right now.
They're not answering. They're not answering.
Jeremiah, Renville Eastman.
Got the phone. Go ahead.
Jerry Eastman. The other husband, well, it's her and her husband. Eastman.
I heard of them, yeah.
So, plus I just got on the phone with Robert Eater too. He's in Fort Peck right now. He's from there. He said we go out to Standing Rock and build a camp. You know? I don't feel like that either. But I know I have to go do it my other yeah, I should have never went to White Earth or BIA. What's under training? You don't have to do that.
Yeah, I just think we're in the casino.
Did you really? Well, then I guess we should go.
I only had $20 to my name. Yeah. And my sister fosters the kids from the island.
Yeah, no.
Well, we got a new baby. He's only 4 months old. Okay. So we had a visit with his mom and dad.
Yeah.
And he always goes to visit, you know. So we go to the casino for an hour. And I was down to like $6 or something like that.
And I was like, bam.
Boom, boom, boom. $2,000. I paid $600
No, I'm
on my
saying
store.
I have gas to get this. We can go to Dakota Magic and hit another $4,000.
I don't have money like that. Yeah.
You put $20 in anyway. Gas?
Huh?
I'd like to get a gas. Okay, so let's go then. Let's have to be back.
No.
I'm supposed to go to the sober thing up tomorrow. Actually, you know what? We can go up to Hinckley first and go to the sober feast, and then head over from there.
Yeah, because I gotta I just have to drop my car for my sister.
Yeah, springtime, summertime.
So I just drop the car for my sister.
Okay.
Can you come get us?
We can go. We go to. We can wait if you want. We can go tomorrow. After tomorrow evening, go up to Hinckley. Go to sober feast. We'll go over there for a minute, and we'll just go straight across. Yeah.
Yeah, well, how do you want to
I really do need to get. I was supposed to go last week, but I just. I gotta go.
Whenever. Okay. Whenever. You got my number.
I do.
I know you do. You don't never use it though.
It's because I've been busy. I've been busy. I've been trying to get this stuff done. You give me all you want. Yeah, why? Let's see. Oh, wait. It might not be. What? Maybe I don't have it on. Maybe that's the problem because I got so phone.
Ah, yeah.
Let's see.
Let me see.
It's not on there. Wait a minute. It's gotta be in here. It's gotta be in here. Go ahead, call and see what happens.
I'm calling right now.
Yeah, you're on there. I just couldn't figure out which it was under. AA, Linda. Not AAA, AA. I forgot it.
At this time, if everyone wants to start making their way to the north end of the 32 building, you'll see gold balloons down there.
Yeah.
We've asked Brian Hart to do our prayer.
North
He'll
is
do the
that way,
prayer
right?
when we get there. And then we'll have a couple songs also. So please start heading that way.
It gets muffled after that.
And if you can help, get your candles lit.
I can go get some of my knick-knack out of the car. I'll get these over there, man.
Okay, where did grab it?
I would not leave them. No.
You don't think so?
I know so.
Right.
You can take them in the elders' room. You can take them in our elders' room. Hey, Bud. You see, oh, there's Uncle right there.
Yeah, I don't have a candle. He asked me to hold the drums, so I held the drum for his Teresa's. First things first, get this out. Break this marble and use that.
Right, I was going to do the same thing. I was going to do the same thing.
Yeah, and then, there you go. There it is.
Yeah.
It's so good to see you.
Uncle, do you want a candle? Uncle, do you want a candle? Okay.
I'll just carry this in my hand.
I know all those things I put on that camera. I was like,
Oh, this was
Open it up. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me open it up for you.
God, everybody's getting that nasty cough. Okay. Oh, yeah.
Nothing.
I was thinking something. You're going to make up your ass.
Kind of whacking your head, don't you?
Yeah.
Like this.
I'm between the buildings right now.
Jingle dress.
the whole cup on fire. Nice. Burn us down.
Singing?
It's killing the shit senseless. You go back?
I'm about to go get Jocelyn.
You got it?
Yeah, recording.
Are you live?
Yeah,
Recording it or are you live?
I'm live.
Okay. I'll tell them to go to your page and watch it.
Yeah. Always. So, everything.
Okay.
Anything
On
you do
YouTube.
here, she-
On what?
YouTube.
Oh, you're on YouTube?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, imagine that. She's ahead of the game.
I don't even know how to do YouTube.
She don't even know how to type in something or search.
So what's up to drop?
Oh,
That's all I'm just speaking.
hello.
YouTube what? YouTube. Channel what?
Native 651.
What? Natives?
Native, yeah. Is it native or natives?
Native.
Native.
Wait till you get back to my house then.
Good. I can't get massages on my feet.
Wait till you get back to my house, bro. Wait till you get back to my house. I'll rub your feet.
No, I made other live streams.
Yeshua, hey, okay.
Relatives at this time, that concludes the prayer for our relative who is going in his journey to the spirit world. Ask for comforting for his family, for those that lose him, for our community here as a whole. We come together in unity at this time with good heart and good mind, for the good of all. And I want to say thank you to you for doing this. And those that eat tobacco, again, there's the large grandfather, the sacred tree over here in the center that if you still have your tobacco, you can place it at that tree as we pass that way towards the new area. At this time, the drum is going to sing a memorial song on behalf of our relative who is on this journey.
Hi.
She's
Hi.
on YouTube.
She's on YouTube.
Wow. Now I know I'm here. Good thing I bring my own.
Jello.
Hello. I'm still going to adopt you.
You can't adopt me. I'm sorry. I'm too old. I'm
You're
15 years
You're too
old.
old to
Sorry.
adopt.
I'm 11.
You got one left?
Okay, well, I'm 4 years older than you, so there's gonna be a
I got a sticker right here.
huge.
I got a sticker right here.
I'm still gonna adopt
I
you.
got my clothes too. I got my clothes in my bag.
Nothing's impossible. I'm still gonna adopt her.
Go past the street, go back by the tree, okay? Go with Clive. Go with Clive. Go with Clive. Go see my
Okay. That tree? Can you hold this?
Oh yeah. That's a good one. She might order these phone sponges out there. He's making that.
South Dakota with them, and I told him that you got school, and he was like, "Bring the whiz." So we're gonna go South Dakota. Yay! Reservation. Look at the bus. Look, look. They're trying to go see the ride, you know?
That's all smoky over there. Trying to keep it going. Have you guys smudged yet?
Yes.
I know, right?
Should go walk up there and you can get everybody up there?
Yeah.
We'll walk over here. Walk that way. Right here. Look. Just quiet. Try to quiet.
Hi.
I just see him.
Hi.
How you doing?
Good.
Good. Say a few words here.
So once again, I'd like to welcome you to our community, those of you who come up to support us during this time. This is an event that was created by our YDC and our youth. So our first speaker is going to be Alicia Goodwin, who's a Lyra board member.
I just want to say thank you to everybody coming out here to support our community and to pay your respects to the young and to continue prayers for the other man that was injured. It's tragic, you know. I don't know exactly what to say that's going to heal everybody. It's not going to work. You have another fucking text message. Us being out here and coming together as one is very important. Just as a resident of Little Earth for the last 12 years, I'm tired of seeing this. I'm tired of seeing our young ones getting hurt, losing their lives. It's not fair. It's not fair. They're young. They have lives to live. Full lives to live, and they put it in short. And being a board member, I'm just going to try to do as much as I can do to change what's going on around here. We're trying hard. We really are. To change the whole scene and to get everybody moved in and get the bad things out of our community. We don't want it here. We need to leave that away. Keep it away from us.
So our next speaker is going to be Margarita Ortega, who is a resident of Little Earth.
Hi everyone. I want to express my condolences to the family that lost a loved one, and I know that pain. I experienced that pain when we lost my cousin in the same area, right next to that tree. November 27, 2004 will always be embedded in my family's life. And we sit there and we stare at his children. He was 21 years old when he was murdered there. And he was a resident here as well. I was born and raised in this community. I have seen the tragedy that has stricken our community for many generations. And I fear for not only your children, but my children as well. How many more do we have to lose before we stand up and say no more? Before we band together and say this, we're done. We're done saying goodbye to our children. I'm worried for my children, aren't you?
Yeah.
It's scary. It's scary living here sometimes, but I wouldn't change it for the world because all the people here have helped raise me. I am a part of this community, soul and heart. This very ground we walk on, I've walked on since my birth. And I wouldn't change it for the world. But I need you all to help defend it. I need you all to protect our children. We have over 350 children in this complex that are on the lease. No telling how many are not on the lease. That could be over hundreds of children that we're all putting in danger over what? Over what? Drugs, gangs, affiliations? You want to know what your affiliation is your people. Your people are who you're supposed to protect. There's a whole world out there that are fighting against us. We are less than 2% of this country's population, and we're only getting smaller. We need to fight for our voices, our rights, our children. Quit fighting each other and killing each other off. We have a bigger war out there than this. Let's protect our kids. And I hope I didn't offend anybody, but I just know the pain and the sorrow that this family is going through. I know that pain more than life itself. That pain hurts because you'll never see that person grow old. You'll never get to see them. You'll never get to say that they were grandparents and they get to see their grandchildren. I have to grow up watching my little cousins grow up without a father. But I get to see their father in them every day, and that's all I hold on to. But please, don't tear our children's lives more apart over something that can be gone the next day. Gangs are not permanent, but your people and children are. Thank you.
So Margarita highlighted, before we go to our next speaker, I wanna say something. I wasn't gonna talk because this ain't about me, it's about Little Earth, and I want people who don't normally get to speak, and that includes all of you out there. If you have something to say, you're more than welcome to come up here. I just want to say, when Margarita highlighted how many children we have on this property, in the summertime, we've raised that number to over 600 children. Now, when this shooting took place, we had one of our 14-year-olds, more than one of our 14-year-olds that were outside, and one of them got hurt. He took shrapnel into his face and to his legs. He's 14 years old. He could have died. All them kids could have died. There was over 20 shots fired. You know, this happens in the daytime. We got little ones out here. Think about that. We have too many children on this property to have this violence continue. It needs to end now. So our next speaker is going to be Clyde. Where are you, Clyde?
Bonjour. Les grands oui dans les villages. Je suis Châteaudet, je suis arrivé au Kitchida, the Fire Society, gathered the Sacred Pipe Sundance American Indian Movement. My nephews and nieces, relatives, friends, particularly the mothers and the grandmas who suffer the most when something like this happens in our own community. I do want to offer my condolence. I lived in this project for many years. You know, it was the American Indian Movement that advocated this program be developed back in the model city days when there's a lot of money available. And I see one of our good friends out here, Peter McLaughlin. There's people like him help things like this happen in this community. But we didn't just do it. Go and ask where we went into Indian homes, all took photographs and pictures of the conditions that our people are forced to live under here in their own country. Saw places where children were falling from the second floor right through the floor, landing on the first floor, because there's no inspections taken of the conditions they were living under. The slum landlords We're the only ones we had to go to seek housing when we came here to the city. And after gathering all those pictures, we put them on a big board, almost as white as this right here. And we took it up to model cities and showed them the conditions that people were living under. And lo and behold, they decided to tear down the old South High School, which was located right here. Tear it down and build this 218-unit housing complex. Some of the bricks in the mortar that weren't even taken out of the ground.
How you doing?
They poured the cement on all these buildings during the wintertime, and it froze. And then they started putting the lodges on the housing up. They're almost caving in from not having no footing. We took it over in 1975. I got a call from Dennis Banks. I was in Boston, Massachusetts at Boston College, talking about the aftermath of Wounded Knee and the fishing and hunting rights and the struggles that we as Native people are still going through today. He said, I had a call. And it came from Dennis Banks. He just happened to be traveling through this area that night. He found out they had a big meeting going over here at Holy Rosary. And the resident board that is still here today, Debbie Peterson, in fact, a non-Indian person, an Indian family, was at that meeting. The Minnesota Council of Churches was there. The Catholic Archdiocese was there. There's people from the North Side community. There's people that wanted to tear down all these projects and put condos in here because they knew that a light rail was going to come through here, right through this area. They didn't want them to see Indian people when they come from all over the world go to football and baseball. And at that meeting last night, they had a choice to turn this project over to the Minnesota Council of Churches and Division of Indian Work. They were there to make the bids. And Debbie Peterson, who lived right over here in the end over here, got up, she said, why don't we turn it over to the American Indian movement? They're the ones that advocated it. They're the ones that forced the city and the government to live up to its treaty obligations with Indian people. Lo and behold, the Residents' Council voted unanimously that they would turn this project over to the Indian community. It was $150,000 behind in rent collection. When they called me in Boston, Massachusetts, kind of laughed. He said, everywhere you talk, you always say in your speeches that we're the landlords of the country, the caretakers of Mother Earth, and it's the end of the month and the rent is due. That's what I used to say. He reminded me of that. He said, I want you to come home, back home here, and take over this project. And I agreed to do that. And I built one of the best boards of directors we ever had here. Even had former Governor Wendell Anderson on our board of directors. Had the federal judge, daughter, he wanted to sit on that board and help us himself. Miles. He turned it over to his daughter and she came aboard. And I took some of the best, the very strongest leaders in this community running the Indian Health Board, the Indian Center, and other programs, brought them aboard. That came through here. A black man named Secretary of Housing and Urban Development named Pierce. But he turned his back on him, said he was going to help us. I took the local HUD through here and we investigated all the units. We never put no insulation around the water pipes. We had every toilet in here was hooked up to a little 8-inch disposal pipe. You all flushed your toilet at the same time, that would come up in the basement to the housing. That's how bad it was. And finally, Fred Jack Kemp. I know my nieces remember when Jack Kemp came in, a famed football player. I know Peter Dorsey knows that. I know Peter McLaughlin knows about that. Came in a dead cold of winter. We heard that the Indian people were going to demonstrate against him. Secretary of Housing and Urban Development. They were going to demonstrate against him. And he called up Larry Leventhal and he said, I heard that the American Indian movement's going to lead a major demonstration up and out of poverty, they called it, here in Minneapolis. I've been all over America, and I've never had Indian people demonstrate against me, he said. What can I do to stop it? I told him to spend a half hour of his precious time on St. Patrick's Day night, he being an Irishman, to come here to Little Earth to meet this community. And as cold as it was, we had 3 or 4 drums right here when he drove in his limousine with motorcycles. Came in. We thought we were going to confront them, get down on them. We took him into this little gymnasium here. He ate one of the best feasts he said he ever had in his life. 2 women came out and wrapped a star quilt around him, 2 of our grandmas. And I saw him break down and cry. He said, what can I do? I said, let's go to Indian Health where you used to be right across the street. Let's go over there. And we went over there. And we asked him to do a workout agreement. Give us time to find a sponsor and run this project. And he said he would. He never did a thing. He went back to Washington, D.C. He had a National Alliance, NAACP, he had Hispanics, he had Nation of Islam, and everybody condemning him because he was going to give help to this Indian community here. And it's in our treaties. It's in our treaties. We're supposed to have health, education, welfare. That's in our treaties. Every one of them was written. There was a commitment made. They didn't get this land for nothing. We had great leaders, great chiefs that negotiated those treaties. And Jack Kemp buckled. He never turned it. He never gets to give us the money. We wanted $1.9 million to rehab all these buildings, insulation, put lawns. There wasn't a single lawn here. Thousands of tons of dirt would wash out in the spring. So what I do, the grandmas came to me here. The elders came to me. And they said, we're going to pay our rent. We're going to pay our rent. We're going to need back payments on what we owe. But we don't want that money going to Washington, D.C. We want it spent right here. At one point, where we couldn't get him to do anything, they wanted me to take all that money. There's been the best collection agency in America right here. You have to have this knowledge here. One of the very best collection. Put it in the bank. Didn't send a penny to Washington, D.C. 2 years later, I got another call. Jack Kemp told us if we didn't have this $4.5 million the bill was, money paid back to them in 10 days, they're going to foreclose on Little Earth. And we went to court under the brilliant mind of Larry Leventhal, our attorney, and other legal people that came to help. We went to court, we fought him. We fought him. And the judge ordered them to put lawns and bushes around, put trees in, take care of the insulation and all that. That's why we went so high up in debt. And finally Jack Kemp was thrown out. A man by the name of Henry Cisneros became the Secretary of Housing and Urban Development. I met him about a year before that at OICs of America conference in San Antonio where he was mayor. And I called him up. I said, I hear you're having a dinner. You're going to be our dinner speaker here at D.C. during the OICs of America. He said, yeah, come on, dinner with me. And just when he got almost done eating his dinner, I went and tapped him on the shoulder and said, Dr. Cisneros, can I have a few minutes with you? We went back in the corner and all the media come running. Want pictures and what we're going to talk about. He said, just stay there. I want to talk to Mr. Belford and we'll talk to you. He said, what is the issue? What's the problem? they're gonna foreclose on us in Minneapolis. They say that we owe them now $4.5 million. But I can prove that every penny of that money went into rehab Little Earth United Tribes. Every penny of it. I said the grandmas over there wanted me to put a razor wire fence around Little Earth so nobody else could come in here. That's the kind of strength we had. You know what Henry Cisneros said? What's wrong with this Jack Kemp? Don't he know anything about Indians? He said the Nation of Islam has housing right here in Washington, D.C. Black people have their own housing. If anybody deserves housing, it's Indian people.